Hi friends, strangers, internet. My name is EmilyHanhan. I love colorful makeup and colorful language. And I have a shiny new eyeshadow palette to play with today. So today we're going to do some swatches and first impressions with the Drench Cosmetics Jupiter Jungle palette. I want to thank Drench Cosmetics for sending me this palette in PR. I know, little bits of PR just trickling in here and there. It's exciting. So Jupiter Jungle is the, I believe, second eyeshadow palette from Drench Cosmetics. The first being the Cosmic Oasis, which I did buy earlier this year. So Jupiter Jungle is a 12-pan palette that has 6 shimmers and 6 mattes. And I see what you're doing here, Josh. You're trying to indoctrinate me into the neutral makeup camp. I see. I'm watching you. No, I'm just kidding. This is this is a palette that definitely on first impressions I was like, I'm intrigued, but I don't know yet. So when Josh offered to send it to me, I did really appreciate that because it is quite lovely to have. That's Tyrion, by the way. It is quite lovely to get products to play with without shelling out. So thank you. It blows my mind how many small businesses are just so kind and generous. So with this new palette, I do want to just call out a few things that I feel like are a lovely step up from the first palette. First of all, names are printed inside. I know that's not always a huge deal, but it definitely gives the kind of vibe of the palette a little bit more clearly when you have the names there. I do think the packaging is pretty damn cute, although I'm gonna say this is something that Nate, Fashionista, mentioned. I would have loved to have seen some of these colors inside a little bit more or something. Just gonna say that. Like, when you're ready to release like the orange, yellow, pink, turquoise palette, Josh, I'll be here. I'll be your colorful. I'm just gonna take this straight from Audra. I'll be your tropical bird. But I am okay. I already swatched this. I swatched this the first day I got it, and the textures. I'm a little excited. And by a little, I mean a lot. So let me do some swatches just on the backs of my hand so that you can see what this palette has in store. So this is the palette all swatched out. Some beautiful, what feel like more autumnal tones, and an interesting mix of like metallics. That taupe up here and the bottom two, I'm gonna say just from swatches alone, the zone, that taupe, and then planetary rings and wilds are beautiful feeling shadows. So the texture of these shimmers alone already excite me as like a step up from the Cosmic Oasis palette. I'm just gonna dip in and play, and we're gonna see what happens. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do 2 separate eyes, like 2 different eyes, or the same look on both eyes. We're gonna play and see what happens. Because if you know me, you know that me and neutrals, we don't really mingle a lot. So I want to see what I can do in these like rich browny bronzy tones and that green and that taupe. Okay, so one eye down. So what do we do over here? I decided I would just walk through everything now versus when I kept popping in while we were working. So I laid down Quicksand as the first kind of tone and went in with Placement as the deepening tone. But once I started playing with the black, and I basically created this black wing by first using the powder dry and then dampening it. Once I did that, I realized that Placement, I wanted to have it more intensified here, and then Quicksand a little bit more here. We have GSR blown out on the lower lash line and kind of blended up and around the curve. On the lid, I used Planetary Rings with a little bit of Ancient, the gold, on the inner corner, and then Flash is the lightest color on the very inner corner, kind of drop down. So that is that eye. And now that I've done this eye, I definitely want to do the other eye because the green, the taupe, we got things to do. I will say from this eye, the black is super pigmented. Like when I sprayed the brush, using it as a liner, it's also what's in my like waterline. Like it is pigmented. Ancient, the gold, Swatches, a little weak to me, but when I picked it up and put it on top of a little bit of glitter glue, it picked up on the brush way easier than I expected, and it definitely read very gold. I ended up kind of hiding it a bit with Flash and Planetary Rings, but Planetary Rings is as beautiful in swatch as I feel like it's on my eye. All of the like neutrally tones that I use blended pretty well. I think that Quicksand and Placement kind of muddied together. Now on this eye, I'm gonna do something different. Let's play. Let's see what happens. So my second eye look, the Jupiter Jungle palette. I have Jungle all over. Deepened it up with the New World black shade. We have the Zone heavily on the front portion of my eye with a little bit of Wilds on the back portion. And then the Zone and Wilds down here as well with Flash again on the inner corner. I've also put down a little bit of Quicksand for a blend out, but it's pretty much covered up. Oh, and the reason why the black looks a little weird out here is because I put some highlighter on top of it by accident. So, what do I think? First impressions. I think that this is going to be a pairing palette for me. I like how the shadows perform. The green I had a little bit of trouble, but I also typically wouldn't just go in with a dark green the way I did, so I kind of set it up for trouble. My thoughts on Jupiter Jungle. I think that this is a really lovely palette of neutrals, of kind of like rich neutrals. None of the colors, especially the mattes, none of them feel like skimpy or lacking. I think some of the colors are probably better packed on, such as the green Jungle, but I also don't know if I would have just gone in just with the green by itself in a normal situation. In my opinion, the shimmers in Jupiter Jungle are above and beyond the shimmers in Cosmic Oasis. Flash has a really nice inner corner shine. Callisto Planetary Rings are like these warm, bronzy, coppery tones. The Zone is like a taupe dream. And Wilds is this like in between like warmer goldeny and taupier tones. Even Ancient, which doesn't swatch great, applied really nicely on glitter glue. The only color in this palette that I feel like I don't need or love is 79 Moons, the white. I just don't really use white shadows very often, so I would have loved to see, like, I don't know, maybe a second kind of green tone for blending out, or I don't know what I would have wanted to see there, but that's the one color that I'm not super loving. But the Jupiter part of it, like the planet Jupiter, kind of makes sense with the colors that were picked. So here are some thoughts. One, I think that these two, this is Cosmic Oasis and this is Jupiter Jungle, I feel like they could pair together nicely. Like that swampy green with Jungle, I want to see what happens there. The more soft black with this rich, intense black, I want to see kind of how they pair up together. So, like, I think it's a nice step up in terms of quality, definitely a step up. In terms of overall shadow performance, I think that these are some nice mattes and nice shimmers. The mattes, I'm still not, I'm not 100% sure if they're like a pack on and blend out kind of matte formula, or if I'm going to be able to play with them as more of like my windshield wipery motion technique. But I had fun putting this together with my more neutral warm tone and then my taupey green smoky look. Now here's what I'm going to say. If you do have any interest in anything from Drench, either of these palettes, they have an amazing liquid liner. They have like pigments and glitters and glosses and things like that, and skincare as well. I do have an affiliate link and code with them. Do not feel any pressure whatsoever, but the link is in the description box and my code is Emily15, and that should give you 15% off. But again, there's no pressure. Do whatever you want to do. Don't buy it, whatever. For somebody that actually doesn't have a lot of neutral palettes, I might be a little excited by this. Because, like, these grungy taupes. I felt this way with Cosmic Oasis. These are the kind of palettes that paired with some of my single eyeshadows, whether it's to pull in different mattes or a little bit more of a dimensional shimmer or like inner corner. I think that they're a really lovely like pairing palette with other things in my collection. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you have any questions about anything else on my face, anything about the palette, if I didn't cover a certain topic, again, this is just first impressions, so take everything with a grain of salt. Definitely leave your questions down below if you have any, and otherwise, and if you like this video, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, maybe share it with some indie makeup loving friends out there. Thank you so much for spending a bit of your day with me. Hopefully I will see you again real soon. Bye, friends.